I'm going to put them in this one so I can find them again. Just like that. You can see them. Welcome to Casablanca Cargo. This is Kathy, and now we're going to start with unexpected stencils. We will get to those little beads later. What do I mean by unexpected stencils? Well, when you purchase something like this, which is die cuts, you get these left over when you take out all the die cuts. And I thought, they look like stencils, don't they? So here I am showing you a couple of different ways to use the negative space now where the stencil or where the die cut used to be and turn it into a stencil. Now the page or the paper here is cardstock, and it is only 8.5 by 11, where the stencil is 6 inches wide. So this is why I'm turning it on the side. And I have a white gel pen here, and I'm just going around too fast, so some of them turned out a bit wonky. But this is a way to get different shapes, and in just a moment here I shall remove the stencil and you'll see, ta-da! Now I have these shapes that we can cut out and use in projects, and now I'm trying to just figure out the best way to get the remaining stencils shapes onto this piece of black cardstock. And I also thought, these would make great labels for maybe a craft fair or flea market or something. I don't know. But there we go. So look at all the different shapes now. And something to fussy cut while you're watching TV. Now this is a different approach, same idea with the die cut packaging, the negative space, and this time I'm going to use a blending brush or a distress brush. I don't know what we call them now, blending brushes anyway. And I'm using Victorian Velvet here because this is a cream color cardstock. And I just go over my little makeshift stencil now. Getting all the little, see, I missed the circle on the first one, and I missed a circle on this one. Didn't even notice it until I'm playing it back to do the voiceover. Now this one, the one piece was a little bit too long, so I decided just to do another ticket right there in the corner. And as I was coming around to the other side, I thought, that's like too many. I don't want that many, tickets or bubbles or whatever. So I scooched that up a bit and go for the squares now, and then some of the bubbles. So whatever you decide to fill your page. Then I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to see what happens when you outline the distress ink area. And we'll see what happens here when I lift the stencil off. I'm using a black fine line Sharpie, just going over all the little spots. And look at that. That is it's very subtle. It's almost to me, it almost looks like watercolor, but we know it's not. It's distress ink. So that's number 1. Number 2, dried tea bag decoupage. Now you've seen me do this in previous videos, but if you're new to my channel, let me show you what I'm talking about. So you brew your tea, and then you set the tea bag aside and let all the little brewed tea leaves dry out. And when you dry them out and you take the tea bag apart, you get these. And these are all the kind that are the, the tea bag has been folded and then triangled, and then usually it's just a piece of, the string to hold the tea bag or pull the tea bag out. And those are really the nicest ones because then you have more surface area to work with. Now here we go. Back to the beginning. This was part of my first video ever on YouTube. And what I was doing here was showing how to empty the tea bag and then use that for your rose bushes or something, planting. Now this is a tag I made. There's a tea bag over the magazine image, and I distress it. This is a full page where I laid down multiple layers of tea bags, and then distressed it with the distress ink. And then if it's sticky, because this one is glued, sometimes I use Mod Podge, and if it feels sticky on the surface, then I just rub a candle over it and it takes the stickiness away. I learned that from somebody on YouTube years ago, and it really does work. And I just have the paper towel behind it so that I don't get wax on areas I don't want wax on. Hey, if you're watching on TV and you have your phone out like I do, you can scan that QR code and subscribe, and I'd really appreciate it. Love to have you along for the ride. Okay, now spool beads. Oh my goodness, here we go. So I use pre-filled bobbins in my sewing. It saves a lot of time. I haven't broken my little bobbin thingy off of my sewing machine because I don't use it. And I was thinking, what can I do with these? And I've been saving them. What can I do with these empty bobbins? And eventually I looked at them and go, these kind of look like those spools. I could make spool beads. I'm going to put fabric in the middle and make little spool beads. Well, I'll give away the secrets. That's not what I was going to say. But I didn't want to use a lot of fabric to fill up that space, So then I had to come up with a way to fill in that space inside the bobbin, around the bobbin. And this is my little technique. So this is my little bobbin, pre-filled bobbin holder. And that's all the black bobbins that I have left. I'll have to order some more. The white thread bobbins, I don't know, there was like 1 million of them in the box. I've never had to reorder for let's say like 5 years because there's just so many of them. But with the black ones, there wasn't quite as many in the box. So here's where I put them, and then this is near my desk and near when I have to set up my sewing machine. So then this one is the box that the black bobbins came in. So you see there wasn't that many black pre-filled bobbins. And here's some little bit of batting and a little bit of fabric. And these already made up ones are just waiting for the scrapbook paper ends. But I will show you here what I do. So I take a Sharpie and I color the ends of the clear bobbin just to, I don't know. I may not have needed to do that, but I just wanted it to stop looking so much like a bobbin. And then I take, now, here we go. So coloring that in and letting it dry before I continue, because if I don't, I get my hands, fingers covered in Sharpie. But I will show you now. You can either do it, I recommend coloring the ends if you're going to do it before you start moving into what I'm showing you here now. But we'll do it with a non-colored bobbin casing. So I take this little piece of batting and poke it in there into the middle of the bobbin. Okay, and I put a little tiny dab of Fabrifix to hold it in place at the beginning, and then hold it with my finger. And now I have some wiped leftover, I don't even know where it came from, fabric. And this is just to help the decorative fabric look like it's all filled with decorative fabric. It's like I said in a previous video, it's all done with smoke and mirrors. So I'm just poking that in there and holding that in, and then adding just a little touch of the glue, and then holding one end and wrapping the fabric around, and then cutting it. You don't have to wrap it continuously. Just one little wrap around is fine. Add a little glue at the end, and there you have your cloth-filled spool. All right, moving on to the spool ends. This is Tim Holtz. I know that he doesn't make it. It was 12 by 12 paper, and it's heavy duty craft paper with printing on it. So what I do is make a biscuit and use my crocodile on the larger hole setting. Here we go, and find the middle. There it is. So it's a disc. Now the biscuit is 2 pieces of the scrapbook paper glued together and distressed on the edges. So now I take the fabric tack and glue them to the ends of my spools, or bobbins at this point, turning them into spools. And here's a close-up of some of my spool beads. I just love how it turned out because they look vintage, even though underneath all that is a plastic pre-filled emptied bobbin. And I'm storing them in this little jar until I find a nicer jar. But at least I know where they are now, because I lost the beads for a while because they were in that box of just miscellaneous things. And here we are. Yeah, they're cute. And here we are at the final thing I want to show you and share with you. Is boho bangles. Dun 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 dun. Okay, I use double-sided tape for some of my adhesive needs, and when you get done with the double-sided tape, you are left with a bangle. That's what it looked like to me, and I can fit it over my wrist. So I am going to make some boho bangles. Now I'm looking for scraps of fabric. This right here are colored catchers. When I dye fabric, I even keep the color catcher. So here's one, and I thought there was more in here, but apparently not. So we'll start with this strip of cotton, and I'm just going to wrap it around there and make myself a pretty bangle. Well, I don't have the exact measurement of how much fabric I'm going to need to make it all the way around this disc or bangle. We'll call it a bangle. I don't know. The ring, make it around the ring. So I'm going to cut a little snip and then tear the cotton in half, or kind of half, so that I'll have some extra fabric if I don't make it all the way around. I kind of had a feeling that I may not have enough, and I didn't want to get to the end and be left short. Oh! So I tapped a little bit of fabric fix on the end, or the inside there, just to hold the fabric in place a little bit easier, and then just wrap around. I used to think that, you needed to glue all the way around, and it got messy, and then I thought, well, maybe just the force of the wrap will keep it together. I think though, if this was going to be something I would sell, I would put a little bit more glue at different intervals, but for this purpose and for my purposes, for me, I'm not going to do that, because if it does come unwrapped, I can just, rewrap it. But so far it is held, and I just put a little bit more of the fabric fix, and of course I did not have enough. See that? I did not have about, what is that? 3/4 of an inch left. So here we go, just continuing adding a little bit of glue and wrapping until everything is covered. This is such a fun little upcycle, and I love the cotton and the fabric and the raw edges, from ripping the fabric, and can get little strings every once in a while. It's just, I love it. And so finishing off the end there with some more fabric fix, and ta-da, I have a bangle. So let's make some more. Look at that. Oh, it's so cute. Yeah, I gotta make more. Here we go. I found some more cotton from another project I'm working on, and well, that didn't get me very far. So let's try again. Okay, so yeah, these pieces of cotton fabrics were part of that big box of fabric that my sister-in-law sent me, and it's like the gift that keeps on giving. So here we are again. I'm gonna, and you start off at an angle, so you get, you wrap around. Instead of going straight around, you start at an angle, so then you can, make your way around. And just continue to wrap, and I'm gonna glue that, wrap that around, and some of till. And anyway, so you can use fabric at different lengths, and you can just continue the wrapping with a new strip. Just glue it in and wrap around. And I still was a little bit short, and that piece that I thought I wasn't going to be able to use was right there, so I used it to finish off this second bangle. And finally, my last bangle is a different double-sided tape roll. This one is more of a cardboard. Well, I don't know, could have some plastic in it, I don't know, but it's got cardboard on the outside, and it's a little bit thicker. So, but same idea. Just take the fabric, and this was 2 pieces of fabric that this is where I cut it off of that other project, but they were still sewn together. So I was trying to see if I could get both of them to show up on the bangle, but I think I should have separated it first. But you learn as you go. And this one had at the end of it, it has the intersection, so I snipped that off where the 2 fabrics, it was too bulky. So I snipped that part off and just, got some more fabric, ripped it to fill in the rest of it. Cute. And wipe off the little bit of excess glue there, and there's my 3rd bangle. And here they are. Oh, I don't know. I think they're adorable. I just love them. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little exploration of turning negatives into positives. And I hope to see you again real soon. Thanks for stopping by.